Hello, everyone, all my gorgeous souls. Welcome to Aeipathy. This channel primarily provides pick a card style readings. They are love focused and heart centered, meant to promote healing, high vibrational living, of course, total soul alignment. So, if you have any interest in seeing full readings or in seeing any of the decks that I review in their full kind of incantation of how I use them in pick a card style readings, I invite you to please check out many of my playlists that I have available of different pick a card readings. But today, as you can see, we are going to be doing another deck review. I'm really enjoying doing these. It's kind of a nice departure from, um, the depth and heaviness of doing full readings. It's a little bit of a brevity to it, a lightness for me. So I'm loving doing them. You seem to be receptive to them as well. So I will continue to bring these to my channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Deep Place Oracle by Rae Serafina Barker. Before I get started, I just have to say I absolutely adore this deck. I use it, as frequently as I can on the channel. It is as the name would indicate, a much more deep oracle, a little bit more obscure in some of the meanings. So it needs to be selective in some of the readings that I use them for. I usually like to use them in the context of deeper love readings or in healing-based readings, messages from source and spirit, things along those lines. But every time I've used it, it's been spectacular. So, every time also that I use the deck, I can't help but just share with everyone how gorgeous this this creation has been. Everything about this, the box, these images, the design, so high quality. When we get to the card backs, you'll see what I mean. It's absolutely stunning. It is, and I 100% full disclosure, I own hundreds and hundreds of decks. Tarot, Oracle, Lenormand, Sibila, parlor cards. I mean, everything you could imagine. This is the most beautiful deck I own. Image-wise, stylization, there's nothing else has ever compared. So if you're someone who, by the way, anyone watching this, if you are a reader yourself, if you're a collector, if you're just someone who admires, beautiful artwork, each one of these images, as far as I know, my understanding is that Rae Serafina Barker is an artist, and she's actually local to me. So this deck is, very close to home, and I love supporting local. I love supporting, creatives of all kinds, but especially one that has a little bit of a significance to a city that I love and I'm familiar with, makes it just that much more of an enriching experience. And so because she's an artist, I just really do feel like each one of these individual cards looks like it could be like, a work of art. And they really are that stunning. So just know that going in. If you are really drawn to imagery, I believe this is a collage style deck as well. This is going to be something that you're going to just absolutely be drawn to immediately. Again, you'll see what I mean when I open up the deck and start looking through the cards. These images are just phenomenal. I'd like to also say a couple words about the creator, Rae. She's amazing. So this was available on Kickstarter. If you are not familiar with this deck, this was a campaign that ran, I believe, it was fulfilled, completed and fulfilled, I believe, during the summertime. So it's been a few months since I've had it, but I've been using it a lot. I then created this channel and I'm like, why not bring to you some of the decks that I'm using, loving. I like to usually do newer decks, but I also like to do some of the ones that, again, maybe have come out in a couple months past previously, but that are really, really phenomenal and great to work with. And this is definitely one of those. And so the campaign ended and I actually had forgotten to fund the campaign and to contribute. So the way Kickstarter works, if you're not familiar, is you choose to back a deck or a project. And, if it's Tarot or Oracle, which is, those are the categories I'm referring to when I go on to Kickstarter. Those are what I'm looking at. When you choose to back a project, you are funding the deck up front before it's printed and created. So obviously there's fulfillment and logistics and other things that take time, but you have to ensure that you place your order, or that you back the campaign, if you will, while the campaign is running. It has a deadline. Well, I missed that deadline. But I reached out to Rae and I just said, hey, I'm really interested in this deck. I'd love to own it. Is there any way I can still get in on the campaign? And she, sent me a separate PayPal request. She kept me in the loop. Everything stayed very organized. And long story short, obviously, I still got my copy of the deck. And I'm so, so happy that I decided to purchase it. I was so drawn to it the moment I saw it. And then again, just some other significant personal details that just made me feel so connected to this deck. But I'm sure you will too if you choose to own it. At the time of recording and uploading this, I do believe this deck is still available. But again, you can reach out to Rae via her social media pages. I will provide that information for you in case you are interested in owning and acquiring this beautiful, beautiful deck. So let's go ahead and get started here on taking a look at and unboxing, reviewing, doing a tarot talkthrough or a walkthrough, whatever you want to call it, getting deep diving into this deck. So again, let's just go ahead and admire this beautiful artistry. I didn't even notice until just now. I think that's a clock. Yeah, that is stunning. There's so much going on here. So I'd say that the theme or the style, as far as I can tell, I'm not super familiar with a lot of different art concepts or styles and methods, but I would say that this is representative to me of like a collage and a layering. So of course you've got this sort of, it's like a translucent image of a clock. You got these more opaque layering of, some trees, some woodland looking scenes. You've got this starry sky, of course, all of those clouds, some birds overhead, and then all of these like beautiful cosmic images as well. So it's, again, just so stunning, and there's so much going on. And this, style and imagery is found throughout. Okay, so it's not just the box. This corresponds to each card in this deck, and it's a substantial deck. Box is nice and hard. It's a 2-part box, very rigid. I would say in terms of quality, this is one of the better quality items that I've gotten from Kickstarter. There are a few that I have received where I'm like, wow, I can't believe that the campaign was this much and this is the final output. No shame. I value all creators, but I'm not going to choose to really come on here and do a full review if I'm not absolutely loving it and feeling like it's quality, it's high value. There's been a lot of good energy infused into the product or the work, the project, and recommending it like I do. This is one that I definitely recommend. You look at the back of the box as well. Again, it's just really, really well done. Very, very similar to what you would get in a mass market sort of a product, an oracle deck. So I love that. I love that it's so well done, so high quality. So once you go ahead and open things up, there's a couple of little extras and perks that I received, which I'm assuming most people would receive in their packages as well. So first things first is this beautiful, I guess I'm calling this like a twofold, like a small thank you card, looks like. It does have an image on it of a one of the cards in the deck. She uses those images throughout. I believe this is the melody card, and you've got those musical notes. Beautiful. Again, so much layering, so much going on inside of each card image, which is just outstanding for intuitive based reading. So inside, have this personalized, note from Rae, which is just so appreciated. We also have her business card, and look at how stunning this is. These images, you guys, I can't get over it. And if you'd like to contact her, I think it's interesting. She provides grief coaching. Hopefully that's focusing for you. Grief coaching, art and tarot, her Instagram handle, and then her website information. So again, reach out to her if you'd like to own this deck. She may have some spare copies, or she may actually be selling it still. I'm not entirely sure. And then we received 2 stickers, which I won't use. Of course, I'll just keep these in with my package. But we have the As Above, So Below card, which is one of my favorite images. It's also featured on the cover of the guidebook. And then we have, this is, I believe, the Oasis card. Another sticker. So just some fun little extras. Again, cute things. I like to keep everything that I receive in the package all together like so. So I just keep it, at the top there. Just makes it extra special. those Kickstarter decks, I'm telling you, it's like, if you get a good one, and this is a good one, the quality is unmatched from what you would get in a mass market product. So I'm going to put those off to the side. I don't want you to see those yet until it's time. This is the guidebook, and the guidebook is not really a cover. I'd say these are just, it's like a thin paper. The guidebook is very well written. It's incredibly detailed. There are a couple of critiques I have with it, minor, of course, nothing that is preventing me from wanting to, reach for this deck, use this deck, but just some things to be mindful of. So we have a dedication, which is very beautiful, of course. We have the table of contents. Of course, there's some beginning intros, so how the deck came to be, things about the oracle portion of the deck, how to use the deck. Always helpful information from the creator themselves. If you want to learn how to best connect with your deck and you're really wanting to immerse yourself in the experience and, again, infuse that energy of yourself and connect well, then I always advise reading the materials from the author, and that's going to help you to ascertain the best way to work with and handle that deck. Who better than the creator would know how to use it, right? So deck architecture, the cards, so a lot of starting information, and then we have above. So it's interesting to note that the deck is divided up into essentially two sections, if you will. So as we have here, this as above, so below. Above cards are going to be, I say, a little bit lighter in nature. So they're going to be not necessarily more positive, sometimes more positive themes I'm seeing, or just, again, lighter, airier. There's less heaviness, there's less depth. Now, this is a deep oracle. It's literally called the Deep Place Oracle. So there's a lot of depth to this entire oracle. However, the deck is divided up into two parts, I think, for a reason. So we have above, then the below cards, again, just for me, are going to be the deeper, sometimes darker cards. And then we actually do have another section, which is liminal. Liminal reminds me of spirit. So this is a very celestial style deck. It has a lot of ethereal vibes to me. And then we have this liminal kind of third category. Again, the deck is primarily divided up into, I would say, the above and the below, the two main sections. But then we also have this liminal, which is this third category, which is like spirit. And I'm getting the word like heavenly, which I don't think that's, quite accurate. But, I guess you could get like heavenly vibes from all of those. It's like a cosmic feel. So you then have all of those cards divided up under that category. And you're able to find the cards based upon if they're an above or below or liminal card. Now, one of my few critiques, again, and there are very few, is with the guidebook. So as you can see here, first of all, there's no pictures of the card images, which I prefer that because it's much easier, especially with this not being in any kind of an order in terms of like an alphabetical based order, or, it's not anything that you would, unless you memorize this book, which why would you? It's not going to be super easy to just flip through and find your page because there's just all writing. The only difference between like a title card image or a card title and the rest of the wording and the writing about the card itself is it's bolded and underlined, but that's just not a lot to be able, if again you're flipping through, it takes a little bit of extra time, as you can see here, because everything is not at all in any set order other than being divided in those categories. So that's the first aspect of this guidebook that's a little challenging. And then these on top of it start mid-page. So I would have loved to have seen instead like each card have its own dedicated page beginning at the top, having that standard format. And it's kind of like it just, you see how things could start mid-page. But with that said, very, very detailed, writing and words on each. So I want to show you the above card first, or the above section, I should say. So above is right there, you can see. And then we have below. And then we also have, let's find the liminal area. Mm. We'll get there, guys. Don't worry. So you can see on camera, a little challenging to navigate this deck here and find the area that you're looking for. But I really do want to show you that liminal area as well. Page 80. Somehow I missed it. So I referenced, needless to say, the, yeah, see, again, mid-page starting. I referenced the table of contents and the numbers quite often. So I really love having that at least available. Now with each card, you of course will have the card name underlined here, and then a little bit of discussion about the card, the themes, which are, I would think, the keywords. That's what I kind of relate it to. Questions to ask yourself to kind of, again, open up that intuitive impression, make you think a little bit more deeply. Again, this is a very deep oracle. So this is perfect for inner work or shadow work. Individual based readings, I read this a certain way. I definitely reference the book a lot when it comes to individual or personal readings, and then collective readings when I'm doing pick a cards, as in this format on YouTube. I do more of an intuitive based impression. And then we also have some affirmations that relate to each card as well. So again, just really, really well done. A little different than a traditional oracle, which I love. We even have this final blessing here. Just a nice way to close things out. Really beautiful energy about the creator. So there's Rae. I don't know her personally at all, by the way. I'm not being compensated for this review. I'm just sharing decks that I love. So let's move on to these cards. These cards that she created are so stunning. Are you guys ready? Look at these. Like, have you ever seen a more beautiful card? Gold gilded edges on the sides. Just words escape me as to how beautiful these are. Love them so much. Now when we get to the front of the cards here, what is to say other than to just first of all take a moment and admire how beautiful these look. I'm loving the muted tones. So if you notice, these are mostly cooler tones. There are some, you know, lighter oranges and white, silver sort of coloration included, but mostly a lot of these cards have a little bit of a deeper hue to them, which I absolutely love. I'm definitely a fan of the deeper tones. There's a good color saturation to this deck and to these cards. Again, there's so much layering going on here, which just gives these, like, what is the word? It's definitely collage-like. Modern imagery. I purchase a lot of collage decks, but mostly those are like vintage images that are transposed. These are all modern. And you'll notice, though, that there's so much going on here. So we've got a pool, and that water is looking very, you know, ethereal again, that cosmic sort of style that's referenced and reflected in the sky is also in the water as well. You've got the pool image. You've got the, you know, the woman present there. Palm trees, you know, and then this huge moon, which is obviously way bigger than it would ever be in life. But it's almost like there's almost like a sci-fi sort of a feel to this. Not incredibly so, but just enough. Again, it's like a utopia, a utopian feel of like things being a little outside of the norm, still like has this familiarity to it. So obviously she looks normal. The pool just looks a little extra. It looks just very serene, but a little bit, again, celestial. The sky looks huge. It's like really hanging overhead. You've got that huge moon there, those palm trees. It's just got such a, like a different, again, eclectic, utopian style to it that is very different, very unique, yet a little bit familiar, and just, you're going to get lost in these images. So this is glamour. We have aliveness. So you can get a good feel for what these look like. Sanctuary. Hopefully these are showing up for you. I want to make sure that they are showing up for you. Kairos. Yeah, in fact, let me go ahead and just move things up a little. There we go. So Kairos, the moon. Some of these are very, very dark, mostly black and white or black and gray. Storm. Again, perfect one-word titles that are great for intuitive-based reading. We have Echo. This card comes out a lot for some reason in readings. Sanctum. Wonder. Very few times have I had to look to the book because I couldn't, I wanted to get a full meaning. I usually can get that pretty easily. Togetherness. Inclusivity is nice in this deck. Diversity. Retreat. Oasis, again, that's that card that was featured, or that image that was featured on one of the stickers. We have Divinity. Voyage. Let's just take a look at this card again. This is another one that's standing out to me. So let me actually bring it up for you. So we've got, you know, those keys hanging. This is almost looking like an open, like you're in the sky. Like, again, there's like such a familiarity and a normalcy to this, like a normal window, you know, a bird perched up top. But then there's like so much that's weird and different about it in a great way. Got this huge moon. You've got these trees, these dangling, you know, old style keys. There's a ship in the window. Like, where does that come from? And then you're in the sky. You're like above the trees. So again, these are just, it took a lot for these to come together, I can tell. And they're just so, so stunning. We've got Horizon. Lineage. Memory. Vespers. Shadow. You know, again, this window, just kind of this architecture, this structure amidst this like mountain scene. It's just so different. We have Embrace. Threshold. One of the brighter colored cards in the deck, Imagination. We have Journey. They have a beautiful matte kind of satiny finish to them as well. I know they're sliding kind of a lot, but they really do have like a very nice, let's see if I can bring it up close here. The Mountaintop, one of my favorite cards. Again, just so different. She's like smoking a cigarette and there's like, what is that, Saturn? Just, you know, hanging out. So you can get a good idea with that glare. They are not glossy. They are definitely a matte style card. Thinner, but a perfect thickness. And with that gold gilding, these card edges stand up well. The Waters. We have Radiance. Fullness. That infamous card yet again. You know, again, that's the same card as the cover of the guidebook, As Above, So Below, as well as the image in those extras I received. Melody, again, that's the cover there. I love that, repurposing and using those images over and over. Possibility, another brighter card. Crossing. Can really interpret these in so many different ways. The Shattered Place. You know, there's some rough cards in here, but there's also some really beautiful ones. Perspective, it's a great balance. Enchantment. Opening. Earth. Shoreline. Mystery. I've used these cards for no less than 4 or 5 months. The Tides. Reunion. And they are just as in good a shape as the day I got them. So testament to how well they stand up. North Star. So what's interesting as well is, you know, sometimes it's great to do deck reviews. Obviously, when you first get the deck, it's brand new. People want to see it. But then at other times, it's so great to be able to do a deck review later on like this and to be able to have you see a deck that's been in use for months. Because, of course, any deck is going to look amazing when you first get it. But this one I've been using, you know, for months, for a long time since summer. And it's looking great still. Haunted Place. Portal. Deep Time, one of my favorite cards. Rose right there is amazing. Dream Time, another just really interesting and different card. We have First Light. Veil, this one comes out a lot as well in readings. Seedling. Vastness. Cosmos, definitely a cosmic vibe to this deck. Creation. Quietude. Growth. Tree of Life. Pilgrimage, The Forgotten Place, The Underworld, another great card, another rose featured. Those are probably my favorites. Stillness, Emergence, and Beauty, a gorgeous card to end on. So hopefully you are as entranced by this amazing deck as I am. It's just absolutely beautiful. As I said, it's so worth it. You get a really personalized touch from Rae when you purchase her deck. Know that this deck, there's been a lot of goodness that has been infused into this. I mean, really, you're... Oops. Every single time Alexa interrupts. As much as I try, I could never get that to stop. So apologize for that, but that's just kind of almost become like a theme of this channel is her interrupting. So anyway, as I was saying, you know, what's really interesting about this is that when you are, you know, seeing this body of work, I hesitate to say that not every oracle has, you know, a high caliber or high level of artistry to it, but having this be an artist, as somebody who's created this deck herself, as far as I know, it's a little different than when you say you have an author or you have a deck creator who's sort of like the intuitive mind or the you know, they're the brains of it. They have brought the concept forth, but then someone else, a separate component to the project, is providing the artistry and the imagery. I believe that this has all been done by her. So it just makes it that much more incredible. And again, I really think that this is well worth it. The value of it. I do forget what the price was, but it was outstanding. Very, very affordable, again, for what you're getting and how everything looks. These show up amazing on camera. Hopefully you're seeing that. They're incredible for, you know, individual based readings, private readings. If you have a reading practice, as I do, private readings or readings for family and friends, or even self readings, they're incredible. They're great for shadow work, you know, inner work, healing, all of those things. But they're equally good as supporting and supplemental cards to use during pick a card. So I just love it. In every presentation I've used it for, they've resonated deeply and been amazing. And again, they're so deep, they're so different. If you're a collector and you never read one single thing with this deck, you need to own this just strictly for the aesthetic. You know, it looks that great. So with that said, I always like to close off each one of my deck reviews with a mini pick a card reading. It just gives you an idea of seeing how the actual deck works when reading with it, how it presents forth messages and insights. You do not have to stick around, obviously, for that portion if you do not choose to. I have so appreciated having you here. If you would like to stay for a message from the Deep Place Oracle, go ahead and select a pile. I'm going to go ahead and clear the table. Get the piles out and the crystals. Again, you should know the drill. Mini pick a cards, you've probably seen a pick a card style reading before. You go ahead and select your pile by the crystal, by the timestamp, what have you, and then there will be a message for you, again, utilizing this gorgeous Deep Place Oracle deck. So stay tuned in just a moment and I'll have the piles ready for you. All right, so I'm back with the piles. Again, this is a mini pick a card just featuring this gorgeous Deep Place Oracle deck. Absolutely love it. Want to ensure that if you're interested, that you get a chance to see how it actually works in action, how it reads, what messages it brings forth, and how it relays information. So this is always just a nice little ending, I think, for any deck review that I do. Go ahead and feel free to select a pile if you would like a mini message courtesy of the Deep Place Oracle deck. Pile 1 is going to be fluorite. Pile 2, I want to say, I'm still getting good at my crystal names. I want to say that that is a form of moss agate. And then pile 3 is going to be the aura coated quartz. Go ahead and take a second to reflect over whichever pile is calling to you most, whichever crystal is drawing you in most, or even check the timestamps. I include those as well down below. And I will see you at your pile in a moment for your mini message from the Deep Place Oracle. Hi, pile 1. So you chose the fluorite tower today, and this is just a little mini message for you, a mini pick a card courtesy of the Deep Place Oracle deck by Rae Serafina Barker. Let's go ahead and see what cards you have. I do recall that 4 cards fell out. I wanted to take 3 individual cards for each pile, but you got 4 and they all fell out together. So I thought that was pretty significant. We have the Forgotten Place, the Underworld, one of my favorite cards. We have Stillness, and we have Emergence. How beautiful. Take a moment just to reflect over how stunning these images are. Hopefully they're translating for you on your end as beautiful as they look for me. So pile 1, the message for you from Spirit, courtesy of the Deep Place Oracle. What is it trying to say to you? First of all, I do think that you're coming back to self. When I see this card Emergence, it obviously makes me think of enlightenment. We have this beautiful moon energy here presenting. That's indicative of intuition, excuse me, tapping into spirit energy, connecting with self, coming into alignment, and all of this beautiful radiant, looks like sun rays spreading out from around her heart, her head area, looking like again, illumination, enlightenment. It makes me think of obviously the crown chakra, energy activating. It's just a beautiful card. Look at her emerging out of the water, even breaking the surface. It's like a breakthrough. It's coming out of a period of depth. You know, water could be representative of, you know, drowning or feeling very challenged, very having turbulent times, or it could represent, you know, emotion and coming into full awareness and enlightenment regarding self concerning an emotional matter, or just emotional balance within. The Forgotten Place is an interesting card for me that came out recently in one of my pick a card readings. And when it came out, the feeling that I had was returning to a place of your past, a period of time perhaps, just a different state of self, and reflecting, getting back in touch with that person who maybe had a little bit more naivety or a bit of innocence, optimism, faith, and trust. This is you stepping into clarity, again, awareness. And then with stillness, it's alignment, it's trust. Again, it's just knowing and feeling peace, that you can be in this state of just inaction and that you can allow things to flow. And it is flowing. I'm seeing all of this water here, you know, this rippling, and this card presenting her kind of, again, submerged in that water. In the Stillness card, to be still is to obviously not act, but it's also to just take everything in and process. So being still is being grounded in your power. It's being aligned. It's being just in full focus and ready for whatever presents next. But again, it feels like there's been a period of turbulence or challenging times, obstacles or barriers, blockages that you were facing. And I do think you've done a lot of inner healing and inner work, pile 1. This Underworld card to me is always symbolic of almost like a dark night of the soul. It reminds me of the Death card, obviously, with that skull positioned there. But look at how there's 2 candles lit. So again, this is idea of like, even though the underworld is meant to be, I think, a scary place traditionally in either like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, it was kind of the correspondence to hell. You know, it was where souls went, and it wasn't really, I don't believe, a really great place. And the underworld can represent, again, yes, all of those things that are shadowy and dark and scary, but we have these elements of illumination. And again, that spark of spirit. Again, it's inspiration, it's enlightenment, and it's hopefulness. We also have this blooming rose, this beautiful red rose that helps us know and affirm that even in, you know, a time of death, there's always a rebirth, there's always a blossoming and an opening, and coming into, again, trust and faith that that happens and that will continue to happen even as you move on from a place, you know, perhaps where things were gentler or easier, a better time, and you've gone into this, you know, deeper, you've sank into this time of you know, turbulence and stress and upheaval and darkness. Again, with this moon also presenting here an indicator of intuition, you're really stepping into, it just feels like a natural trust in the spirit realm, in source, and in your connection to source. Again, through that stillness, pile 1, you've been able to rediscover self, get back to a place, a new energy, a rebirthed energy, but one that is reminiscent of a time when you were a bit more aligned, you hadn't had as much difficulty, you know, struggling through something. You've had this period of a dark night of the soul, and now after, you know, the dawn has come after a time of darkness. You are being still and strong in your power, and you're going to reemerge. You're already in that process of reemerging and again blooming with that rose. You're coming back to life, pile one. It's such an amazing energy to see. I love seeing these kinds of readings, especially when I see that anyone's going through or has previously gone through a really rough patch, to know that you are on track again. You're in a flow with a divine plan, and you're connected at a high level to spirit. That's so, so exciting. So pile one, I hope you've enjoyed this mini message via this pick a card reading from the Deep Place Oracle. If you have enjoyed the reading, it's brought you clarity, it's resonated for you, I would invite you to check out my other full pick a card readings. Again, I have multiple playlists of those readings here on the channel. Or if you just like deck reviews, I have several of those as well. I am building kind of a two-way branding on this channel. One side of it will be intuitive based, obviously. It will be pick a card readings and healing and high vibrational coaching. And then on this other side will be more of just fun deck reviews and talking about tarot and, you know, card decks and indulging in that little obsession that I have. So my esoteric desires, as I say. So if you'd like to stick around and see more content like this or full pick of cards, go ahead and explore around Aeipathy. This is a wonderful space. I love everybody who chooses to come here and connect with me. It's such an honor. Consider liking, sharing, subscribing as well. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, pile one, take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile two. Ooh, apologize for that wobbly camera. You were drawn to, I want to say this is the Moss Agate Tower, and this is your mini message courtesy of the Deep Place Oracle deck. Really love doing this to kind of close off watching the deck review. It's just a little added bonus that I give everyone who chooses to tune in. So with that said, if you end up enjoying this mini reading, I would love for you to stick around and see more content. I do a lot of videos like this. And again, I like to just also share beautiful things with the rest of the spiritual tarot and oracle community. And this is a great way to also see how this deck reads so that you can know, if you're interested in purchasing, what you can expect in terms of actual practice with it. So pile two, let's see which cards we have for you. We first have Shadow. We have Earth. And we have Dreamtime. Interesting. Just want to make sure these are all straight and look nice for you, and they do. Okay, so similar to pile one, you know, I do still think, you know, it's similar energy to pile one about being in this period of shadow, pile two, but for you, it's almost feeling as though you're still in the midst of creating. You're not yet ready to fully emerge. I think you're observing. You're taking a lot of time to reflect. Again, I almost get this sensation with this hand outstretched to this woman in this boat. She's on the surface of the water, it looks like, or, you know, there's definitely a reflective quality here to that card. So I'm going to assume she's in some type of water or some body where she's able to navigate through. So as much as I think that you may be in the depths of something, again, shadow, there could be something you're going through or that you've been dealing with that's of a deeper energy. Maybe a little less pleasant, some contrast most certainly, but at the same time, look at how everything is in full view. It's nothing dark about this card except for that hand that's still continuing to reach out for that woman, and all you have to do is just navigate away from that darkness. You know, everything is illuminated and lit, and lightness and clarity around you. It's all bright and not scary. So I think what's important to recognize here about this period of time that you're currently in, pile two, is that you really are moving beyond some difficult energies a lot more easily than I think it may feel or seem at certain times. Again, this also is an image that makes me think of the Six of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot system. So in that card, it's actually depicting a woman and a child that are in a boat, and they're moving or sailing on beyond some difficult, you know, turbulent, tumultuous waters, you know, stiffer currents, if you will, and moving into a calm sea. And so that's what that makes me think of when I see this card, is moving on and moving beyond this period of difficulty or, again, challenge, stress, whatever this shadowy energy is for you. It'll look different for everyone, and moving away from that, not allowing it to reach you anymore. with dream time, this is a beautiful energy. She's in the woods. There's all of these elements here of beauty. We have the moon obviously situated prominently in the sky, which is representative of intuition. It's tapping into spiritual energy. It's listening and heeding those insights and those spiritual downloads that are coming to you, pile 2. You could be getting a lot of dreams, messages coming in dreams for you with that dreamtime energy, of course. We have the rose, which is indicative of blooming, of coming to life. I do think you're envisioning so much fun, so much abundance, so much beautiful energy in your dreams. And you're still, again, like I stated in the beginning, you're in the process of creating. So dreaming is a wonderful practice to engage in for grounding and for manifestation, because if you weren't aware, when we're sleeping, that's actually when we release resistance. So all of our resistance is our limiting beliefs, it's our stress, it's our anxiety or our worry. It's everything that we carry with us day to day as human beings being incarnated in this 3D world. But when you sleep, it's like that momentum stops. So we release resistance, we stop that flow that may be going in a wrong direction, and we dream. We have these beautiful visions and feelings and sensations associated with whatever we're dreaming about, of course, assuming it's a pleasant dream. But I really think they are for you. And I think, again, you need to really pay attention to those dreams, because you're waking up to something is what it's seeming like. Waking up to a new way of being, waking up to possibilities, again, really bringing that momentum and that vibrational energy of manifestation up and in a good place by doing all of this, dreaming or even daydreaming if you're awake. Again, anything that's just going to keep you in a positive, high vibrational energy, anything that's going to be uplifting and optimistic for you, create happiness and joy. That's what actually allows that energy to flow into you in your 3D physical experience, your waking life. With this earth card, again, this is a similar energy with pile 1. She's sitting looking on a rock. I think of stability, of balance. The earth is, our home. It's where we have incarnated. It's our safe place, I would say, in this universe. And yet it also just represents the idea of, again, this material 3D existence and how we are so beyond that. She's beyond the earth. She's looking outstretched at this beautiful image. And look at how it almost has the appearance of a sun with all of those rays outstretched beyond that earth sort of silhouette. It's just making me think of this enlightenment and this awakening, this radiance coming into some clarity, awareness, and knowledge, it feels like, regarding your world, your experience. And again, creating, visioning, discovering what it is that you want, and then actually putting that into practice, or beginning to make plans for that. Again, I still think you're in this sort of a flux phase of moving beyond some difficulty, moving beyond your shadow, addressing your shadows, and doing a lot of inner work, perhaps even in your dreams, during your sleep, your non-waking hours, or engaging in daydreaming, engaging in just having a different perspective, a different outlook, which is also coming through to me with this earth card, having a different viewpoint of life. And knowing that there's a lot of big potential for things to be a lot different from here on out, pile 2. So pile 2, I hope that that's been helpful to you and been of value. If it's resonated for you and you've enjoyed this mini pick a card courtesy of the Deep Place Oracle, I invite you to check out my playlist featuring full pick a card readings. I do post content as frequently as I can. Right now it's several times a week. As well as these deck reviews, of course, on the channel. So please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing if it calls you to do so. And if you feel guided to return, I am so honored every time anyone chooses to come and share space and connect with me here at the channel. Hopefully we'll see you in a future reading or a future video. And until next time, pile 2, I hope you take great care. Bye-bye. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to your mini pick a card reading and your message from the Deep Place Oracle. You chose the Aura-Coated Quartz Tower today. And, this is going to be your message. Hopefully this is going to be something that provides you with a lot of clarity and awareness, and it's very resonating for you. The other 2 piles have been spectacular. I think they've been great messages coming through, very deep in nature, of course. So let's see what we have for you, pile 3. We first have Deep Time. Okay, so we're already getting deep. One of my favorite cards in the deck. We have the Moon. Oh my goodness, is this beautiful. I'm getting Queen of Cups energy here. You could be a Cancer. Storm. Okay. It's time to dive deep, pile 3. You're in the midst of some chaos. I do feel like you're experiencing a turbulent time. That's kind of been a theme between all 3 piles today. But one thing to be really considerate of is that this is very, very temporary, I'm hearing. So with this peaceful energy of the moon here, with this woman just kind of allowing those radiant beams of that moonlight to shine down on her, she's completely immersed in either clouds or water. It's just something very calm and serene in feel and in imagery. But she's completely at peace. Look at her. Even as we have this storm energy, we have this bird presenting, which is a wonderful symbol of spirit. Again, that's an indication that everything is going to be okay, that the universe has your back. Of course they do. And that you can be in this stillness. You can be in this calm serenity. You can trust, with the moon representative of intuition. This is a call to you, a message for you that amidst whatever battles that you may be struggling with, you are safe, you are protected, and that everything is okay and going to be okay. And it's okay to go deep. It's okay for things to be feeling very deep and very heavy, perhaps right now. I'm getting a heaviness to this card, which I don't typically, but that's what's coming through at this moment. So especially with this storm energy, whatever it is that you could be facing, know too that as long as you heed intuition, as long as you stay connected to your internal emotional guidance system, as long as you are connected to source, there's always a promise and potential of blooming, of fertility and abundance, and of coming back to life, of having everything sort of be rebirthed. I can't help but be aware that you probably have the most dark coloration of all of your cards, of all of the 3 piles today. So again, a period of darkness, a period of just really deep reflection, perhaps really needing to calm the mind, create that inner balance and stillness, heed the signs from spirit, and trust and know and have faith that everything is going to be okay. There will be a rebirth, there will be a blooming and a coming open again, a coming back together, another season of life, if you will, more abundance on its way for you. You really can trust that. The moon is so prominent in all of your images. And then to actually have the moon card central, and it's such a calming presence, it's such a beautiful, serene energy. It really just speaks to me as saying, regardless of what's going on in this card, regardless of what's happening for you, the storms that you may be undergoing, that you're raging against, just go deep. I'm almost thinking of if there's a storm on the surface of the water and you're in the ocean, and you dive under the water, you just are completely enveloped and enrobed in this beautiful watery energy of emotion, of intuition. And, the surface can't get to you. The storm can't reach you because you're already in all of this water, and it's very calm and it's very quiet. The deeper you go, again, deep time, it's going to be very still. It's going to be very, just there's going to be a stillness, a very, very wonderful balance that happens as you just keep going within. So trust that. Trust what you're being called to do. I do think you're taking that time for self, pile 3, and I think that's so, so important. But above all, really continue to stay in your intuitive body. Keep ahead of your feelings, I guess. Stay in touch with your feelings. Feel your way through the situation. Trust the feelings and the impressions that you're getting. Know that your intuition is guiding you forward. You have to go deep in order to overcome kind of what's at the surface, is what I'm hearing. So pile 3, I so hope you've enjoyed this reading and that it's brought you some clarity and resonated, helped you in some sort of a way. If you have enjoyed this reading and would like to see either more deck reviews, more pick-a cards, any content similar to this, I have many, many playlists available on the channel with similar videos that I post as frequently as possible. If you decide to engage with the channel as well, like, share, or subscribe and click that notification bell, you will be updated and made aware every time I do post. I hope to see you again. I so enjoy, and it's such a pleasure and such an honor for me anytime anyone chooses to come here into my space and connect with me. So hopefully until next time, I hope you take great care, pile 3. Bye-bye.